I thought was funny in that podcast, he goes, Minecraft, so how do you make it fun? Your top 3 podcasts?
Who was the weakest link?
Yeah, who was the weakest link?
Yeah, I just hate
Cam sex stories.
Yeah, the Cam Cooking podcast was the worst one for me.
Yeah, too much dildos for me.
So pretty much we were like, should we get a guest? And Cam was like,
no.
Guys, I am the main attraction here. I'm the main character. So don't need a guest, you know. Bambino, Becky, fuck off. Will you? Just actually been on for the Christmas special.
all we get called the one who ruined X, so I'm Alex's boyfriend and Bazinga's friend. That's all we get called in the comments.
Yeah, if we were an Avengers movie, we'd be the Avengers, the sidekicks.
We would be the sidemen and the sidemen, technically.
Yeah, we're like the middleman to the middlemen.
The side men.
Yeah, the side men.
Oh, God.
What would you say your top 3 podcasts have been?
Near Chew.
Yeah, the Near Chew, the one that's not... You'll be up now by the time you're watching this, but I felt like that was probably one of the funniest ones because it was so funny, but I don't know why.
Neither do I.
Because I was going to say a word you can't say there. You were being very, very weird.
I was cracked. I don't know what the hell happened to me on that
crack.
Was that because Near Chew was like you're a big fan of her?
I had no... I didn't know who Near Chew was until the day before.
This man doesn't know anyone apart from the sidemen.
What I thought was funny in that podcast, he goes, Minecraft, so how do you make it fun?
He's like, what's the point?
I don't get
What's the point of it?
Like, you dig for wood and then you build.
Dig for wood in the ground, yeah. No,
Yeah.
I'd say to make it quick, it'll be Near Chew, Chloe Hodgson, and...
Oh, Chloe Hodgson, why?
Because I've been a big fan of her stuff anyway. I was always waiting for that podcast, but not found out that was...
Pretty much he's saying that he fancies her.
Yeah. So, Chloe, please reply to his DMs if that's...
And his texts. Yeah.
And his texts.
And his missed calls.
And his Morse code. You know, while you're at it, get them all done. Why... Why was that your favourite podcast though? Like, was it because the content was good?
For me, it was someone that I've watched for a long time. Like Near Chew was someone like completely new, but I found the podcast very like entertaining and very fun. Chloe was someone that I'd been watching for like a long time, and then I was like looking forward to like putting like name to content creator to face kind of thing, and then seeing what she was about. And obviously, like she stayed behind after, and then it was still the same kind of person. It was very like enjoyable.
Yeah, she got very drunk.
She did do that. We all did.
Yeah, she was doing like she was doing catwalks, wasn't she?
Yeah,
remember she was like doing catwalks up and down. Yeah.
That was a strange one.
Oh,
that
you
was
Lauren.
Lauren?
No, Lauren.
Chloe.
Are you all right, mate? Come in the conversation. It's fine.
I thought you were talking about Near Chew that was doing...
No.
I fell asleep after the Near Chew podcast.
Yeah, I know. Can I just say...
I was so confused.
After the podcast finished, the first thing, Charlie just go, Nikki, come and have a look at me dick costume on Minecraft. I was like, at least buy her a drink first, Charlie.
It was my dick skin.
Oh, your dick skin.
Out of context, that sounds mad, but
yeah, it sounds like
it was a weird.
We were saying it sounds like a snake skin, like, do you know when snakes shed and they just have like a little dick skin in the back of their ring?
Just got it in like a tub.
Yeah. This was this year's. That was last autumn's.
Yeah, summer season. No, oh no. Who was your third? So you had Near Chew, Chloe. Who was your third favourite? You think?
Lauren Alexis one was very funny.
That was the first one that really did bits.
Banged.
Yeah.
It's the only one that's bang.
Yeah, because the Alex one did well, obviously did really well. Like, I think it's on nearly 50k, I want to say. But the Lauren one was the first one, I think, that went past our viewer kind of from our own channels.
Yeah, a completely different demographic.
Yeah, well, how did you think like that was going to do before we got her on?
No idea. I was like, I had no idea either. But I was just excited. I feel like it was a really solid podcast until we all got very, very drunk, especially Lauren. And it, like, you didn't see it, but there was about 20 minutes of just waffling, like just
we had to cut a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff was cut on audio only.
It's just 'cause
audio only got worse.
There's a bit in the normal podcast where she says something and there's just a clear cut at the end, and then it's just thank you for watching the Antisocial podcast.
This might be a good time to say, like, if you do go and listen to like the audio only versions on Spotify or any other kind of platform, on that podcast there was a moment where we asked for life advice from people. People asked give us their advice, basically, that we give to them. And some poor kid was just like, I'm a virgin, and I'm looking to... I'm a virgin, and I'm looking to... basically, I was trying to, like...
You wrote the email, so tell me.
It was basically, like, it was a kid who was a virgin, was having, like, girl troubles, and he was just like, I don't really know what to do. And Lauren was just like, yeah, fuck their best mate.
And we're like, Lauren, he hasn't actually looked a girl in the eye.
Yeah, he
fuck his
can't
best
do it.
mate.
Yeah,
fuck his best mate.
She was like, that's what I used to do. I used to do this. Fuck them. I was like,
Yeah, so when we get drunk, they're fun for like the first 45 minutes, and then afterwards it just goes a bit tits up, and then we kind of regret it.
Yeah, can you remember when we uploaded that and then we just were watching how well it was doing? We were like,
Speak for yourself. This man, honestly.
man, he's like,
Look at the analytics. We've actually got a 19.4 CPR in this. This is the top one we've ever had.
This man, he goes, we've just had 24.3k, guys. 24.3k. We're just walking his room and he's just sitting there. He's got 3 monitors and he's got a dashboard on each different one. He's got analytics on one, videos on another, sub
What, you're trying to make me out like I'm off
with
Dexter's laboratory?
with a bucket of Vaseline and tissues right next to it.
Yes.
That's actually for me psoriasis, guys, before we move on.
And he's like hunchback in Notre Dame. He's like leaned over, just staring into analytics.
yeah, that's me. Anyway, that's me. It went up. It did so well. It's got like 300k now, you know.
Yeah.
Fucking for a podcast.
The thing is also like that's what it was like
For us as well.
We've all now
Yeah.
done videos with Lauren, but none of those videos have done as well as the podcast, which is what I find absolutely bizarre.
I think it's because what we found is that when it's people's first podcast, they tend to do a lot better because people haven't seen
Their personality.
their real personality. Whereas if people have done a few podcasts, people are like, well, there's only so many times I can listen to that they watch YouTube in school. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think with that one, that was the first one where we thought, shit, like this is actually could be really big for her, like the podcast in general.
Yeah,
I
for
thought.
sure. I mean,
Yes.
like if the first video got like 5-10k and then the next one was like 5-10k, it would be like what?
Yeah.
Like what? Like obviously we've got a direction of where we want to take the podcast and do stuff between all of us and our own personal goals. But I think that was like a really nice like lift up. That
Yeah,
we
it
could
was.
actually just be like, you know what? We could
take on the world.
We can do this. You and I together, we can conquer everything.
Anyway, on the topic of top 3, who's your top 3?
Oh, good question. Obviously, post we've not seen the near YouTube one, but I thought that was just really funny, like unnecessarily, really awkwardly funny, especially afterwards. When we were talking about some of the stories as well. But then I don't really know. I feel like I have them all quite on a playing field. I'll probably have to look at some of them to be like, oh, okay, because I can't think of them off the top of my head.
I think what's going under the radar, because we know her so well, I think the Becky podcast was the first podcast where it was kind of mates have, like the Lauren one was very having a laugh, but we met her on the day. Like I think the Becky one was the first one where we all kind of, we had topics, but we were just having a good laugh.
Natural, and we didn't have to do as much like research. We just know a lot about her naturally as being her friend for 3+ years.
I think for me, the best thing about doing the podcast is about meeting like new people. Like to be fair, you don't have to go on your phone. You could see who's on the wall.
knock on the wall.
But for me, like I can look at most of these people. Like I know quite a few of them like already. So it's like it's more about like the new people. Like I didn't know Nia Chu at all. Like, I didn't even know who she was. I knew of Chloe Hodgson, but didn't actually like know her. And then say for example, you got Kira, didn't know her. I've met Sharky a few times. I know him. So for me, things like where like I know people like Alex, Sharky, George, etc. I would find, and Becky, I'd find those hard to be like up there in the top best ones for me because it's not like, I didn't walk away from anything. Like, I just felt like, we made a good podcast.
Do you know who took me by surprise quite a bit? Kate Elizabeth.
Or just her looks.
But yes.
Carmen, you hearing this?
You're not
you hearing this touch the light?
You tease me.
No, but I thought Kate might have been a bit. She never done a podcast. Channel's very like cuts, like with vlogs. I didn't know if she'd be like a confident speaker, but she was so confident.
And every time we asked her a question, she was just going on and on, not in a bad way. Like she just generally was a
Bloody waffler. Her couldn't wait to get her fucking off.
She was like a confident speaker, but no, I agree with you. It's people that I didn't know because I'm like, oh shit! Like I feel like I really like the Sharky one because it was more about it, like obviously I've met him before, but I've never sat down and be like, tell me about your childhood, Sharky. Whereas just like being able to like get to know him more, I like the Callum's Corner one. I thought that was really funny as well.
To be fair, I haven't like
And Max
not
Voss.
enjoyed a single podcast, which is what I've enjoyed the most about it because I haven't met one twat. I think like you're right about the Kate Elizabeth one because for me when she first walked in, I've heard about stuff from Kate before. I've seen comment sections, I've seen stuff like that, and you'd have like it's hard not to, but I don't have like a preconception of what someone's going to be like. But then when she sat down, had a conversation, and spoke to her after the podcast, just really, really lovely girl.
I agree.
So like, it was really nice to see, and I've actually watched more of her videos since.